Everyone is getting ready.
Check. Oh.
All set? All right. So the moderators will be Jimmy Angita and Adil Alba from Playo. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Today, we will have a light discussion about creative economy and green diplomacy. Yeah, maybe I should open this with dance, but I just broke my back last night, so I just going through the discussion. So this very morning we have three speakers that will share their experiences and also their thoughts on the uh, creative economy and also the green diplomacy and how they then those two terms are connected. And the first one, I'd like to have Dinda. Okay, I know Dinda from last year from a program that we manage called What If Lab. Yes, this the book, the result of the program. And Dinda will share her experience, how then he and other designers, four other designers, three from Indonesia and two from Netherlands, to work together with the community in Kampung Kunir in Jakarta. Dinda, you want to share your experience and the stories and how then especially the co-creation process between you, the designers, and also the community, the residents of Kampung Kunir.
My experience as a designer in this project was we were all chosen through an open call, and it was done by the Dutch Design Foundation with Pleo, where Gita and Mas Adil are from. And we worked together for a year to co-create sustainable public space with the Kampung community in Kota Tua. If you are visiting around there, sightseeing, you can also visit the Kampung where our design will be showcased forever, I hope. So I can give like a little show since we don't have like a manual. This is like a manual slide, so please. So we have a little photo of like the kampung and the design that we made. And it was an interesting experience, maybe because the way design is normally understood is that design is more for people who are able to afford it. But in this context, in social design, it's more of how we create with communities. So within the kampung setting, it's not often that they're asked what they want for the future. It's not often that they're part of the discussion of the future. But in these workshops that we've done, we were able to introduce them to methods of co-creation. I'll try to pick a good picture. Wait. So we had like different workshops where they're involved in discussions about public space, where the kids can imagine as wild as they want. The moms can try to go beyond like their day-to-day and see what maybe they want to leave behind for the generations to come. So it's also an interesting experience for us to share that discussion that maybe is exclusively limited to a more design background, that the language of creation isn't quite as accessible as it should be. And we had an exhibition. Sorry, it's a bit hard, but manual side. So we had an exhibition where the kampung residents also came, and it was held in Erasmus House, which is the Dutch Cultural Center in Indonesia. And we had a lot of visitors who haven't heard of a design concept where communities are involved. And it's quite an interesting experience where we get to share with them. And one thing led to another. We have also a project in the Netherlands. So this is quite recently. The design that we created called Rujak Plaza. It's implemented also in Rotterdam. So we have a set in Jakarta and a set in Rotterdam, where communities build their own public spaces. So the blue planters here and the orange planters in Jakarta in this picture are all movable, and they're trying to make more of a statement of how we understand public space. So normally public space is understood like maybe a mall, maybe a park, as something that's permanent and doesn't really involve the community much in developing it. But here we try to see the way that the kampong already uses space, and it's the way that we've learned to communicate with the residents. So we are trying to give them the option of rearranging the space as they want to use the available space that is already existing in the kampong. Because as we all know, Jakarta is dense and there's not a lot of space to have more public space. So this way we try to see like, oh, maybe the warungs that are around, the kaki limas that move around, maybe they can be included in the definition of public space. Maybe when the road is blocked by a tent that has a party or a wedding, it can also be included as public space. So we try to see like the value of how our community in Indonesia and the value of the input of the designers in the Netherlands are like. And one thing also led to another. I am representing Indonesia in the Youth Sounding Board, which is an advisory board for the EU for EU external actions. So all 10 member states of the ASEAN region and Timor-Leste are working together to build an advisory board for the EU. And a little announcement that this project, the What If Lab project, is having an open call for questions. So our question was, what if we co-create sustainable public space in Indonesia? And the next question is up to what the open call finds. So if you want more information on getting the funding and the designers involved in your project for the next What If Lab open call, you can visit the Youth Sounding Board booth quite close to here. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Tinda, for the explanation and the analog presentation, of course. I'm sure that if you want to know more about the project that Tinda and other designers did during the What If Lab last year until this year, you can go to her booth.
Oh, yeah.
Which
And the booth is also a collaboration with the makers that were involved in the What If Lab project. So we have Mortier that recycles plastics, if you want to learn more about manufacturing plastics. And we have Laptanya, which is an interesting group that will always have fun games to bring with you and games that make you think more about your sustainability and daily life.
Okay, thank you. And just I'm wondering, and how then? I mean, like it's quite an interesting project because when we talk about the diplomacy, it's not directly talking about the international actors, but also how then the local actors like the community in Kampung Kuning also can be involved as a part of diplomatic strategic. Could you share like a bit about it?
Yeah, it's the way that the community was involved. It was that they were able to give their ideas and their input within the process. And there were language barriers when we did the project, but we were able to communicate and maintain it and submit follow-up research after this. So we're gonna be involved with the community for quite a bit more time until even after the What If Lab ends.
Okay, great answer, and thank you for answering this quite of local context in diplomatic area. But I'd like to also bring this discussion into a bigger picture or like the macro from the Asian, and that's why I also interested to ask to Abdul about how then today the landscape of creative economy in Asian, because I believe that's your part, right, and your organization doing, right?
Okay, thank you, Adil. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Adil. So, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here to be the EU Green Diplomacy Weeks 2024. Before I start, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Abdullah. I'm one of the steering committee of SYS, or we call it ASEAN Creative and Digital Economy Youth Summit, or we call it SYS. We provide the platform for knowledge and skills exchange and become a melting pot for youth to sharing about the knowledge and skill exchange and become a melting pot for youth from various stakeholders and sectors. who have a common vision in making a better ecosystem for creative and economy, specifically in Asia. We were born out of a collective concern that our world's creative economy needed a fresh, forward-thinking direction, and who better to drive that than youth? This belief is why we organize biannual conference. We make monthly discussion. We have also online community, all with the aim of bridging communities and creating impact. Talks about the diplomacy in our eyes means finding innovative solutions and also through collaboration, whether to other organization or even to be the government, especially when the solution address a global challenge like climate change. And I will tell a little bit about our program, Creative Catalyst 2024. Um, it is basically, we hosted 60 delegates from our main focus, which is an ASEAN plus 3 countries, and then representing diverse background and sectors, but specifically in creative economy who have interest in creative and also in digital. And on our roundtable discussion, we focus on key issues on creative industries such as collaborative works, intellectual property, and of course, what we discussed today, which is a climate change, with the title of Creative Economy Answering Global Challenge in Climate Change. Through this discussion, we develop an action plan, specifically tailored by youth for youth itself. And from there, our delegates proposed several action points, including first is digital campaign commercials, and developed by youth and designed to reach people across various socioeconomic backgrounds, because it is the bare minimum for us as youth to spread the word about the climate change itself. And responsible consumption and sustainable collaboration to foster long-term habits. And lastly, is about create profitable management to encourage more green creative businesses. And we also have a privilege to participating in a global stage in WCCE, or World Conference of Creative Economy in Tashkent, Uzbekistan earlier this month. And it also come with our emphasized contribution of 4 main points, like intergenerational collaboration, because we knew that climate change is impacting everyone, not only youth, but also young and old and everyone, and also supporting existing youth initiatives. Third is opening doors and connecting the dots. It means that our creative our creative support is not need only for increasing upskilling, but also connecting to other collaborators, such as something like money and also monetary benefits. And also 4 is clear, achievable action points. So I think that's the statement from us as SYS. But the things that I want to highlight it is talking about the climate change and connecting to creative economy is I will quoting Anthony Agota. He is from EUEIS as well. And he said that on one of videos, he said that we are on the same boat. So we have to tackle this challenge together. It means whether you are ignoring this climate change or you are really expert of climate change, we are on the same boat. We need, no matter who you are, youth, elder, across continents, also any religion, we have on the same boat. So we need to tackle this together. The climate change is a collective challenge and our response must be also collective. So let's take this journey together and let's action together. Thank you, Mas Adil.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Sounds great. Just a short question that since I'm also aware that the roundtable session, the discussion session is just like a few days back, right? Is there any the next plan on it? Like, I mean, in a short term, not just in a far away, but maybe in a 6 months, maybe in a year. Is there any like a next plan on it?
Okay. Our next plan is we have as I said before, we have an action plan. We have the action plan, and we will discussing it in every monthly on the monthly discussion. So it's not just only in discussion, but we have a real action plan that something that all the delegates from Indonesia, from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, we have connect each other with basically in monthly discussion. And in SYS we provide basically our focus is connecting. So for specific action, we beg to every delegates to do something and on their ferry organization. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, great. So if you are interested in this taking action or like in the issue, I think you can talk to Abdul after this discussion. And for the last speaker, Kita from Playo, my colleague, I believe it's quite interesting also to have or to see how then when we talk about the creative and also the green movement or like the climate change stuff, we also need to make something interesting for public, right? Not just the heavy and the awareness of it. And Playo, I know that in Playo that you are directing through a design diplomacy stuff, right? Like one of the project in What If Lab. But then we are interested to know what's the idea behind the design diplomacy and how then the Playo could drive into the public to make this heavy idea into into the public. But first, I think you need to introduce a bit about Playo, and then it's good.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Adil. Hi, everyone. I'm Gita from Playo. I'm the creative director of Playo. So happy to be here, and yeah, really love to see people nowadays is having a really good habits like sports, and also this is a playful event that we had here. And yeah, by the way, I want to tell you more about Playo. Basically, Playo is like the name play. We are a playground for makers and thinkers. Basically, we are a platform that encourage the collaborations in interdisciplinary to do the design diplomacy, to bring design as a language, design to solve problems, and design for daily life. Like in What If Lab, for instance, we know that design have a really comprehensive thinking, which is start with empathizing and divining the problems, and then do the cultural exchange, bring solution and understand what is the problems, actually what is the problems for the community. Like for instance in Kampung Kunir, they have a very limited space for playing, for the ibu-ibu, the moms there to talk each other, and also for the kids to play because it's very limited space. So the designers, we encourage them to find out what is public space for them. So the public space can be a place to share, a place to gossiping, can be a place to work for the bapa-bapa and the fathers, a place to play for the kids, and so on and so on. So start from that, the design can work farther, can do the interaction to make some outputs that can be really used and can be really solve their problem. So the designers finally built like a modular public space, so it can be moved. It's really to rearrange and everything. They can bring it, set up it for the events, set up it for the playgrounds, set up it for to put the planters also. Yeah, something like that. So that's what's the spirit of Playo. We want people to work together to solve problem in a playful way. Maybe it's a bit like to democratize the research. Maybe if we hear about the research, it is similar into academics things, which is a very heavy issue with the academics approach. But if we tweak it into a play, it can be fun, even though the issues is still really deep behind. Yeah, that's basically what Playo do, and we started Playo since 2019, and we started by archiving alternative materials. Like if we want to bring it into like climate change, so many people that already did researches for the materials from waste to be a board, like a recycle board, and then from the other materials like a mycelium, which is a regenerative materials, to be a leather-like materials, and we try to do the archiving, and start from there. We design a programs that encourage these people to work collaboratively, to make a projects, to solve a problems. And then at the end of the day, we also try to have a connection with the net, have a connection with the market, because without the markets, without the industries, and if no people buy these things, so this idea is not gonna sustainable. So we also make like a collective stores to sell the stuff from the sustainable materials, like an alternative materials from mycelium, and from the coffee grounds, like a daily products. For instance, a lamp and also a coaster, home decor, furniture from that materials. So public can buy it directly, and the designers also can have a new knowledge about these materials is these materials is exist, something like that. So yeah, basically that's a player do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds heavy and light at the same time, I suppose. So yeah, I think we still have some minutes. Maybe I'm sure that if you have questions, it's way better if you can ask directly after this session. But I'd like to, for Dinda and Abdul and Gita also, give the last word related to the creative economy. Do you have any like words, or like maybe like in the sense of the co-creation, maybe in the sense of how then to bring it into a bigger narrative, and also like maybe if like bring this into a more interesting way of what you're doing.
So, just that's so for the project that we did. So for the project that we did for the What If Lab, we were able to create a collective called Kampung Collective. And we were able to figure out that in Indonesia, all you need to do to collaborate is ask. And people with their different expertise and their different skill sets are always eager to help. So for this project, we collaborated so much with different industries, with Mortier, Kebun Kumara, with Wanara, and they all shared their knowledge with us, and they shared their skills with us to make this project possible. And I see that kind of collaboration as a key way that we can look at a creative economy's role in green diplomacy, and to maybe also extend it to see like what the other countries in the ASEAN region are doing. Because from the youth sounding board, I got to see like, oh, there are similar projects to what I'm doing right now in the other ASEAN regions, and we all share like a similar context with the different images in what the kampung looks like in each country, or different ways the community works in each country according to their culture. And I think collaboration is the key word I want to leave behind, to say creativity and collaboration go hand in hand.
Oh, that's nice. Abdul?
Okay, I think in SYS we have some mantra that we really hold on, which is collective action. So, and we believe that in creative economy and also the digital economy ecosystem will be better if we do these things together. Moreover, if you are youth and you can do something right now, this is the right time for us to do something, to create something collectively, not only as Indonesian, not only as you as only in one subsectors. Basically, in Indonesia, we divided creative economy into 17 subsectors, and nowadays we see that a lot of subsectors is just doing by themselves. But it's time we need to do collaboratively. We need to do something collective action. So the time is now. And for little bit CTA, maybe you can visit our Instagram s underscore youth summit to see our programs, to collaborate with us, to do something together, and to do a collective action.
Great. And Gita?
Yes, sure. In Playo, we encourage people to play together, and yeah, our spirit is always to connecting the dots and do the collaboration together is one of the most important thing nowadays, and yeah, just do what we can do. So let's see how it can impact.
Okay, just do what we can do in a very small stuff that we can do. Okay, I think that's the end of the session. Thank you for joining until the end of the session. And again, if you have questions, I believe it's way better to ask directly to these coaches, speakers. Thank you very much, and see you backstage.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'd like to give back to the MC because we still have a quiz, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. You may please take a seat. Please give a round of applause, everyone. Oh, perhaps we can take a group photo session first. All right. Three, two, one. One more time. And 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. Boleh tepuk tangannya semua. You may please take your